Good evening and welcome again to another episode of Beating COVID 19. We're recording this at home, largely because what we streamed today went online without sound. And I just want to give a quick recap what I was sharing on today's episode. Uh, Beating COVID 19 is more than just how to avoid uh, getting infected and how to avoid spreading infection. Beating COVID 19 is also planning for what you will be doing after the pandemic is over. I know I said a lot of things because normally these live streams are unedited. They just have a couple of notes, so I will try as much as possible to keep the content of what I spoke today in this video. Now, as I said, beating COVID 19 means not only surviving the pandemic but also thriving after the pandemic is done. At the moment, we are faced with a pandemic that we have never seen, at least this generation. And because of that, a lot of us are looking over our shoulders as to how to survive and whether the government or the agencies can protect us or hospitals can treat us. And we're looking forward to vaccines and medicines. However, because we know basically well now how the transfer rate, the moderate to asymptomatic rate is, chances are we will survive. And the premise for today's message is, what will you do after COVID 19 is through? The world is opening. It's opening its doors to business, it's opening its doors to commerce, it's opening its doors to each other. The economies of the world cannot continue in lockdown. If we lock down any longer, more or less our economies start rotting from within, and people, now you will most likely end up dying because of surviving the pandemic rather than actually being caught in the pandemic. So question is, what are you going to do after the pandemic is through? The pandemic has taken its toll in society right now. However, the world needs you to survive, so that the future jobs which are going to come back will need people to work. So stay safe, keep safe, and be alive to see those days. However, all is not going to be the same as it was before. As you're very much aware, the pandemic has taken away a very big chunk of the economy, which means not all jobs will come back. Number two, even if the economy starts recovering, some jobs have been rendered obsolete. Number three, the reliance on working from home and also working online will now start taking precedence. So we're going to see a transformation in our workplace, because shutdown necessitated by the pandemic caused people not to report to offices. So what are you going to do about it? Right now, a lot of people the world over are beneficiaries of remittances. As in, you have people in the diaspora who send you cash once in a while to boost your budgets and balance your accounts. And yet, at the moment, even those people are affected. So it will affect the funds that you normally receive as a support from people outside. For example, in one of the world's biggest remitters is actually Nigeria, with over 25 billion US dollars, whereby their capital inflows, the foreign exchange inflows into Nigeria, is second only to the sale of oil. In Lesotho, down in South Africa, 25% of their GDP is based on remittances. So my question to you is, what are you going to do after the coronavirus is through? In the coming days, we are going to start sharing, or rather basically on what I feel or what I read that I'm sharing with you every day. We'll kind of look at how do you survive the virus and thrive in the next generation economy. The reason being that once you survive, you also need to thrive. We don't want you just to be a survivor of the pandemic and continue surviving in poverty. No, we're going to focus a lot on getting you back on your feet and giving you the tools and opportunities to actually make a decent living post coronavirus. How? Well, you have to then wait for the next episode, because I am busy compiling the information for you for that. And if you like these videos, please spare a moment, go to my YouTube channel, which I'll put the link in the description down below, and just like or follow or share. We normally broadcast this simultaneously through Facebook and YouTube, but as of today we have had that issue with the connection, and hence we have to make do and record this session for upload. Also, we always talk about our 4 C's plus 1 C, where the 4 C's are: you have to chill, that is to stay home; clean, that is to wash your hands; clear, that is to give yourself some space, social distancing; and cover, that is to cover your nose and mouth with a mask to prevent infections coming to you or you spreading it. And the last but not least is that in the event, like during this month of Ramadan, and I wish a wonderful Saum Makbul to all my Muslim friends who watch this or are also fasting, that this may be a month of blessing to you too. But these are the months where people usually visit a lot, so we ask you either one, or the 1 C is either to change your mind, change your clothes when you come back home, or carry extra clothes, so that when you go to your friend's place or your neighbor's place to share, to have some iftar, that you also try not to carry in the virus with you, because you might pass through public transport, you might touch something that's infected. But we trust that if you followed the first 4 C's, chances are you will not be a carrier of the virus. Well, not to take any more time, I think I may have missed a few things, but it is what it is. So have yourselves a good evening, and thank you for listening to today's episode of Beating COVID-19, and I look forward to being with you tomorrow, where we shall open up as to how we shall come out from this coronavirus pandemic and become Corona Kings. Thank you for spending the time with me, and have a good evening, and God bless.